Most founders are choosing the wrong business model, not because they lack execution, because they're copying models that worked in the past instead of designing for the future.
Thank you for having me. And I want to start with something fundamental. Business model is more important than product quality.
That's a bold claim.
I know, but I've studied 500 plus companies and it holds up. A mediocre product on a good model beats an excellent product on a bad model almost every time.
So if I have the best product, but the wrong model, I'll fail?
Almost certainly. You might get some initial traction. Users will like the product, but if the model doesn't work, you can't build a sustainable business.
What's a concrete example?
Snapchat had a better product than Facebook in many ways. More engaging, better for younger audiences, genuinely innovative. But they chose an advertising model with worse unit economics than Facebook. Facebook chose a model that was better for their business. Different models, different outcomes. Or look at Basecamp. Mediocre product compared to modern SaaS, but the model lean team, bootstrapped, no growth at all costs, made them incredibly profitable while growing steadily.
So the model is actually strategic, not tactical?
The model is the strategy. Product is the implementation. Model determines whether the implementation is valuable.
So model comes first?
Model comes first? Always.
Let's start with what's getting challenged. What models are we moving away from?
3 main models are getting increasingly difficult: freemium, marketplace, and venture-backed growth at all costs. Freemium was genius when attention was scarce relative to products. You'd offer free-to-build usage, convert a small percentage to paid. Worked great in 2010s. Now there's a free alternative for almost everything. The barrier between free and paid has evaporated, so freemium models are getting smashed.
Why is conversion collapsing?
Because there's free competition now. There's no lock-in. Users have optionality, and the psychology of free has changed. People expect free good, not free as bait.
What about marketplace models?
Marketplaces were profitable when there was scarcity on one side. Not enough drivers for Uber, not enough freelancers for Upwork. Now you have oversupply on every side. Anyone can drive. Anyone can do freelance work. So marketplace power is collapsing. You see margins compressed to 5 to 10%. You can't build a durable business on that.
And the VC-backed model?
Venture-backed growth at all costs made sense when capital was cheap and efficient growth was rare. Now capital is expensive and efficient growth is expected. The companies that were winning by raising $100M and scaling aggressively are now struggling. Because they can't raise again. They have to be profitable. And they were never designed for profitability.
So all 3 of these models are facing structural challenges?
Structural challenges that won't be solved. These aren't temporary. They're permanent shifts in how businesses need to operate.
What models are actually working well now?
5 models I'm seeing win consistently: attention monetization, embedded distribution, community-driven, creator platforms, and efficient growth. Attention monetization is the opposite of advertising. Instead of trying to steal attention from an audience, you build the audience yourself and monetize it directly. Substack, Patreon, Discord, these aren't ad-supported. They charge the creator or the community.
Who wins with attention monetization?
Creators, educators, thought leaders, anyone with an engaged audience. The challenge is you need an audience first. So this model is good for founders with credibility or networks.
What about embedded distribution?
Embedded distribution means you're built into someone else's product. Stripe embedded payments, Twilio embedded communications. You're a feature that someone pays for because you save them from building it themselves. The advantage is you don't have to acquire customers. You get distribution for free. The disadvantage is you're dependent on your partner's success.
What's the third model?
Community-driven models. The community does the work and the founder builds the platform. Open source projects with paid tiers, Discord communities with tools, Wikipedia. The unit economics are incredible because users generate the value.
But how do you monetize if users are doing the work?
Carefully, you can't charge for community participation, but you can charge for premium tools, for removing friction, for better features. Think of GitHub. Open source is free, but teams pay for GitHub to manage it all.
Fourth model?
Creator platforms, helping creators monetize their work. OnlyFans, YouTube, Substack. The model is, take a cut of creator revenue, usually 30%. It's a revenue share, not a subscription. The advantage is it's scalable. The disadvantage is creator dependence and commoditization.
And the fifth?
Efficient growth. Build a product, get really good at efficient customer acquisition, charge a price where you can profitably acquire customers. Grow steadily and sustainably. It's the model that actually works for most founders, but nobody talks about because it's boring.
How does AI change which models work?
Dramatically. AI makes some models obsolete and makes others suddenly viable. AI makes labor-based models fragile. Any model that depends on human labor is now under pressure. Content moderation, customer support, basic design work, all getting replaced.
What becomes viable with AI?
Models that were previously impossible. An AI-powered personal assistant that's good enough to replace a human assistant. A content generator for commodity content. A coding assistant that boosts developer productivity. These are now viable because AI changes the unit economics.
Give me an example.
Anthropic with Claude. They're not selling Claude to consumers, they're selling Claude to other companies to build on. That's an API-based model only possible now that AI is reliable. Or mid-journey image generation at scale. People pay monthly for AI-generated images. That wasn't viable before AI.
So AI enables new models, but also kills old ones?
Yes. It's creative destruction. Some models become obsolete. New ones become possible. Founders have to think about where their model sits in that transition.
How does distribution change with these new models?
Distribution is actually the constraint now, not product. Everyone can build a decent product. Not everyone can find customers. The old distribution channels ads, sales teams, organic SEO are either broken or commoditized. The new distribution channels are referral networks, content, embedded in other products, and community.
Can you scale with just referral and content?
You can get to a certain size, superhuman scaled mostly with referral and product quality. But to really scale, you need either embedded distribution or community. That's why founder networks and partnerships are becoming central to strategy.
Does that mean cold outbound is dead?
Not dead, but it's increasingly expensive and low conversion. Unless you have a really specific high-value use case, cold outbound doesn't work like it did in 2015. The future is being recommended and building credibility before selling.
Let's talk about the financial side. What do unit economics look like in these new models?
They're different than SaaS. Traditional SaaS wants an LTV, CAC ratio of 3:1 or higher, CAC payback under 12 months, retention above 90%. New models have different targets. Attention monetization might have 80% take rate, creator platforms 30%, community models 20% of users paying.
So the models are more efficient in some ways?
Yes and no. More efficient in customer acquisition, but less efficient in monetization since you're taking a cut or small percentage. It's a trade-off, efficient acquisition versus lower margin. The key is to understand which variables matter for your model.
What's the minimum viable unit economics to scale?
You need to be able to reach profitability before you run out of capital. For these new models, that means low burn, high engagement, or both. Profitability doesn't have to be day one, but you need a credible path within 18 months bootstrapped or 36 months with capital raised. Model first, then build.
Tell us about your companies. How did you evolve your thinking about models?
My first company was a SaaS marketplace classic freemium model. It worked until the market got crowded, then conversion rates collapsed. We pivoted. My second company was a creator platform with a revenue share model. It grew, but when one big creator left, revenue dropped 40%. My third company is embedded distribution being a feature inside another product. It's been the most stable and profitable.
What did you learn?
Distribution is harder than product. Dependence on a single channel is fragile. The best companies have multiple distribution channels or embedded distribution. Also, the model that feels exciting psychologically isn't always the best business. The embedded model is more sustainable, even if it feels less sexy.
How do you choose a model now?
I ask, where is the customer scarcity? Where is my competitive advantage? What distribution do I already have? I model out the unit economics. If the math doesn't work, the model doesn't work. Every decision about a model is a decision about who has power.
You mentioned efficient growth as boring, but there's something too boring, right?
Extremely. Most of the durable companies I know operate on boring models. They're profitable, have predictable growth, and don't need to raise capital again. Nobody celebrates boring, but those companies quietly win.
What does a boring model look like?
You identify a specific customer with a specific problem, build a solution, charge where you can profitably acquire them, grow by repeating that. Basecamp did this, ConvertKit did this, Intercom did this. They're all hugely successful, but rarely celebrated because they're boring.
Is boring the future?
Boring is becoming smart. With capital expensive and competition fierce, the exciting models are risky. The boring models are defensible. I advise founders now to start boring, validate with boring execution, then get exotic if you want. Boring validates faster and often outlasts the exciting.
Rapid fire?
Ready.
Best model for a solo founder?
Attention monetization or embedded, where you don't have to build a team immediately.
Worst model to start with now?
Freemium or marketplace. Too much competition. Too hard to differentiate.
What model is most underrated?
Community. Most founders ignore it, but community is the ultimate distribution and retention mechanism.
Will subscription SaaS ever stop working?
No, but it will be harder. You need genuine differentiation, not just better SaaS.
Biggest mistake founders make with models?
Choosing the model that excites them, instead of the model that matches their advantage and distribution. Also, not modeling the economics upfront.
What model will be obsolete in 5 years?
Freemium will be mostly dead. Marketplace models will consolidate to a few winners. VC-backed growth at all costs will be a cautionary tale from the 2010s-2020s era.
Bonnie, close us out. What should every founder understand about business models?
Choose your model before you build your product, not after. Most founders build first, and then figure out monetization. That's backwards. Your model should inform your product design.
How do you choose the right model?
Start with your advantages. What do you already have? What networks, credibility, distribution? Then match that to a model that leverages those. If you have a platform and community, go community-driven. If you have credibility and audience, go attention monetization. If you can integrate into another product, go embedded. If you have unique tech and specific users, go boring SaaS.
And then you build?
And then you build. With the model first, the product becomes easier. You know what to optimize for. Every feature decision becomes, does this serve the model? If not, don't build it.
What if you choose wrong?
You can pivot, but each pivot costs momentum. So get it right early. Spend a month modeling, run early tests, talk to customers, then commit. The founders who win are those who chose right on the first or second try, not the ones who pivoted 7 times.
What model will you be betting on next?
Community-driven, probably. I think we're going to see a massive wave of community-centered businesses in the next 3 years. The tools exist now. The economics are beautiful. The only thing missing is founders who understand they need to prioritize community from day one.
Bonnie, thank you for showing us the business models of the future.
Thank you for asking. This is one of the most underrated conversations in startup land. Everyone talks about product. Nobody talks about model. But model is deterministic of success or failure.
Everyone listening, before you build, choose your model. Model determines success or failure more than execution. Think about your advantages. Match them to a model. Model out the unit economics. Then build. That's episode 27 of Scale Up Stories. I'm Sakil. Model first, build second. Scale Up Stories is independent. No sponsors, no gatekeeping. Just founders talking about what works. If this episode changed how you think about your business model, share it with one founder who's trapped in a bad model. Subscribe wherever you listen. Leave a review. Links to Bonnie's research in the show notes. Until next time, choose your model like you choose your co-founder.